Well, I'm Matt Shore, and in our first bit of weird news, a Filipino businessman confessed his feelings last year to a pop star by asking her out on a date by using a $30,000 billboard in South Korea. I wish I was making this up. The person in question here was a businessman and social media influencer named Christian Albert Gaza. And he purchased an ad that features him suited up and says, Kim, Jenny, Ruby, Jane, can I take you out to dinner and make me the happiest man alive? Jenny Kim is a South Korean K-pop star, and she's the famous vocalist for a South Korean girl band known as Blackpink. Mr. Gaza took this ad out because he had no other method of getting in touch with her. Gotta question that, being a wealthy businessman. You would think that he had some way to get in touch with her publicists or agents or whatever, but that was his justification. Um, but he placed the ad on a roof in a building in Seoul, South Korea. And didn't stop there. He also went on Facebook. It wasn't public enough, I guess. So on Facebook, he also mentioned that he was planning to gift her with a flat, but found out she was no longer accepting gifts from fans. Ever since then, a lot of Blackpink fans over in South Korea, they've been calling Mr. Gaza out and calling him a creep, and even asking the ad agency to take action to protect the pop star, I guess. Um, but to top this off, this isn't the first time Mr. Gaza has pulled a stunt like this. In 2017, in fact, he invited a Filipino actress for a coffee date with a billboard. And on that one, he said, I can't even espresso. How much I like you a latte. Will you drink coffee with me? Anyway, I'm Matt Shore, and this has been the first edition of Weird News is brought to you by the Tales from a Small Town Journalist podcast, a production of Shore Manor Studio, which you can listen to wherever you get your podcasts. For more information, you can visit my website, www.mattshore.net, or you can follow me on the following social media channels. On Twitter at @TheMattShore, on Instagram at The Shore, or on TikTok at The One Matt Shore. I'm Matt Shore, and in this edition of Weird News, police arrested a man in Ohio last month for allegedly stealing a bridge, and we don't know why. Police said that they arrested the suspect accused of stealing an entire 58-foot pedestrian bridge that had been temporarily stored out in a field. The Akron Police Department, they said that they charged the man with the felony after a search warrant was executed on property in Medina County, where they found the partially disassembled bridge. Police said that the man he allegedly paid a local trucking company for a crane service to lift the bridge onto and off of a vehicle and deposit it on this property out in the county. Now, before this, the bridge had served as a pedestrian walkway along a river in Middlebury Run Park, but it was moved to an open field as part of a wetlands restoration project. The city actually planned on repurposing the bridge for another location, but then they discovered that it had been stolen from the field where they'd stored it. Authorities have not revealed a motive for this theft. I'm Matt Shore, and this has been Weird News is brought to you by the Tales from a Small Town Journalist podcast, a production of Shore Manor Studio, which you can listen to wherever you get your podcasts. For more information, you can visit my website, www.mattshore.net, or you can follow me on the following social media channels. On Twitter at @TheMattShore, on Instagram at The Shore, or on TikTok at The One Matt Shore. All right, you guys are going to love this one. A little while back, it's been a few years now, but a woman from California said that she dreamed about swallowing her engagement ring, hoping to protect it during a high-speed heist on a train. Then she woke up and realized she actually swallowed her ring. So the person here is Jenna Evans, and she originally wrote about this ordeal on Facebook, and that post eventually went viral. She explained that she was having a vivid dream in which she and her fiance at the time, Bobby Howell, they were in the quote she used was a sketchy situation, and they were on a high speed train being chased down by some bad dudes. So apparently, in her dream, her fiance told her to swallow the ring in order to protect it. So she popped that sucker off, put it in her mouth, and swallowed it with a glass of water. Right about the time she realized that's what she was really doing. She said she assumed it was a dream because, who swallows their engagement ring? And, went back to sleep. No big deal. Whatever. But then when she told her fiance what happened, she didn't think he'd believe her right away. Both of them laughed for quite a while, laughing till they were crying. they, they even did so far as doing internet searches on Google, like, do adults swallow rings? Because, kids do it all the time. Naturally, there were a couple of options that they had here. They could have let nature take its course, but I guess that bothered them a little much. So they went with the other option and they went to urgent care, where Evans tried to explain to doctors what happened. And it was hard because it was a combination. She was both laughing and crying really, really hard. Well, an x ray confirmed the ring was sitting there just beyond her stomach, down in her intestines. So the doctor told her she'd have to get a procedure to remove it rather than wait for it to go through her system. So she went to a gastroenterologist and described feeling some pain at that point. No doubt, a diamond making its way through your intestines probably would be a little uncomfortable. Well, she started worrying a little bit then because, what's going to happen? Is it going to, slice up her inside? Is she going to get some serious ulcers or worse? Well, fortunately, the doctors were able to retrieve the ring with not a whole lot of fuss, all things considered, during an endoscopy procedure, and they gave it to her, which made for a happy ending. And when her fiance, now her husband, got it back, she promised not to do that ever again, and you'll be happy to know that they are still married today, and all is right with the world. Weird News is brought to you by the Tales from a Small Town Journalist podcast, a production of Shore Manor Studio, which you can listen to wherever you get your podcasts. For more information, you can visit my website, www.mattshore.net, or you can follow me on the following social media channels: on Twitter at @TheMattShore, on Instagram at The Shore, or on TikTok at The One Matt Shore. Okay, here's a delightful story. A man was arrested in Florida for allegedly stealing a crossbow and stuffing it down the front of his pants. You can't make up the good stuff. This happened in a little town in Florida. As a 46-year-old man who was seen on security cameras actually walking into the shop carrying a crutch before he took out a pair of cutting tools, removed the security tag from a Raven Rio crossbow. Hope I'm saying that name right. He could then be seen taking the weapon, shoving it down the front of his trousers, and then walking out. And I suppose the weirdest part of this story isn't just the fact that he did this, it's that he actually got out of the shop and made it home, I can only guess. It wasn't until a few days later when he finally got arrested for this, and he was in the parking lot of another store, which happened to be nearby. I can only imagine what that one looked like while he was walking out the front door to his car. Weird News is brought to you by the Tales from a Small Town Journalist podcast, a production of Shore Manor Studio, which you can listen to wherever you get your podcasts. For more information, you can visit my website, www.mattshore.net, or you can follow me on the following social media channels: on Twitter at @TheMattShore, on Instagram at The Shore, or on TikTok at The One Matt Shore. And now, in another case of you can't make this stuff up news, a man in England was spotted riding his bicycle naked on Easter Sunday. The reports came in from a little town in Derbyshire, the Peak District village of Finney Bentley, on Easter morning. There was a man caught on camera riding his bicycle in the Buff through Ashburn, much to the supposed amusement of those driving behind him. He was actually caught on camera, and if you want those images, I will not be sharing them on this video. You will have to seek them all out on your own. Now, initially, villagers thought it was some kind of prank, just kind of a one-time deal, but multiple people started spotting this gentleman actually more than just Easter Sunday. Like throughout the week, they kept spotting this guy. Police even got a report about him from one caller, but they did not manage to track him down. So the naked man is, in fact, still at large. Weird News is brought to you by the Tales from a Small Town Journalist podcast, a production of Shore Manor Studio, which you can listen to wherever you get your podcasts. For more information, you can visit my website, www.mattshore.net, or you can follow me on the following social media channels. On Twitter at @TheMattShore, on Instagram at The Shore, or on TikTok at The One Matt Shore. Hey, if you're looking for a job, there's a post office that's hiring. It's in Antarctica. If you're good at sorting mail, selling postage stamps, and counting penguins, then this might be the job for you. The post office I'm talking about is called Port Lockroy, and it's also known as the Penguin Post Office. It's a popular tourist destination, apparently, just off the west side of the Antarctic Peninsula. This site is considered historic and receives as many as 18,000 visitors every season. It's a British territory, and it was established in 1944 and operated at the time as a British research station. Now it's managed by the UK Antarctic Heritage Trust, which operates a museum and a gift shop there. Profit from the shop goes to support renovations of other historic sites in Antarctica. It actually also monitors the impact of visitors and an environmental study, which includes counting the number of penguins and penguin chicks on the island. This study aids in regulation of the number of visitors who can go to the island and informs guidelines to, quote, ensure the environment is properly cared for. So if you want a job, with penguins at a post office, there you go. I think the weirdest part about this whole thing is that people are going on vacation to Antarctica. Anyway, I'm Matt Shore, and this has been Weird News is brought to you by the Tales from a Small Town Journalist podcast, a production of Shore Manor Studio, which you can listen to wherever you get your podcasts. For more information, you can visit my website, www.mattshore.net, or you can follow me on the following social media channels. On Twitter at @TheMattShore, on Instagram at The Shore, or on TikTok at The One Matt Shore.